I'm on the YouTube page, still says waiting for James Gray.
Okay.
Green.
Go.
What time do you call this?
We call it on time.
Oh, that's funny because you're 1 minute late. By the way, we're live.
It's impossible.
Hello, chat. Thank you for joining for a belated book club meeting. By the way, unlike Thursday's stream, please let me know if anyone's too loud, too quiet, if people are kissing their microphone or something. Speak up, so not bad.
This is a bad time to notice that because Kitchen Joe has fallen violently in love with his microphone.
Hello, Jersey.
During the war at a hospital in Italy.
All right, yeah. Everyone on this channel should know who I am. I'm James Craig. I'm the author of this fantastic book that you should check out. Links in the description. But I have two guests on, two returning guests actually. Both of them suffered through some video games with me, and Kitchen Joe, I want you to go first because I put you on the left.
Well, my name is Kitchen Joe. I'm actually on the right, but let's not get into that. Yes, so my name is Kitchen Joe. I am an aspiring author. I have published The Angel of Subjugation in part 1. You can find, you can find that. I believe in you, son.
And then we also have Author's Play, who didn't give me his Twitch link. Because
I thought you had it. You've
no,
been there like 3 times.
Give it to me fresh, bro. I'll update it into the description right now.
All right.
It's not something I keep handy.
What? I thought you were one of my most devoted fans.
No.
This revelation shocks me, wounds me.
Okay. So the reason I brought these two guys on is because they're both authors, and this is part of the monthly book club, and this month was Catch-22. Let's pretend that I have a prop. I'm gonna use the back of Elric here as my prop when I need to physically hold a book, because I read it on audiobook, and I really enjoyed Catch-22. It is I actually rank it as one of my 10 out of 10 books, and there's not many of those. Overall, you guys got a out of 10 rating?
I'd say 8 out of 10. It was pretty good.
I'd agree with that. 8, maybe a 7 if I was feeling a bit cruel, but yeah, I'd mostly say 8. Yeah.
So, I know what you guys are downranking it for. I do want to put in that the book's kind of a slog. There are definitely some dry portions. There are definitely some jokes that didn't land. And the structure of what the book's trying to do, because it is an absurdist anti-war book that tries to make the emotional argument to the reader of how terrible war is, and it's like, it's not a glorious thing. It's just this series of events and with stupid people trying to take care of themselves and all that. And over the course of the book, it kind of just drags you down further and further and further, taking you from, oh, everybody's wacky and crazy, isn't this a cool cast of characters having hijinks? You know, it's World War II Seinfeld crap. And then it just kind of pulls you down until you're at like full sympathy with Yossarian, main character.
I would actually compare it not to Seinfeld, but to It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, given how the characters act.
That's fine. Perfectly fair comparison right there. But the thing is that as a total package, because this is a book, you do get a beginning to an end, as a total package, I think the payoff in the ending is actually so good that it wraps everything up perfectly and justifies what I would agree is a slog in the middle. Now, let's not completely spoil it until later into the live stream, because we've been live for 5 minutes, so let's not give away the ending yet. But that's why I rated it so highly. That was one of the most satisfying endings I've seen in a book.
I gotta say, if the ending wasn't so good, I probably would have been a lot more angry, but not for the reasons you think.
Interesting. So, like, this is rated as, like, you can find critics that are like, this is the most important book of the last century. And I think with the kind of impact it draws out of you, as well as the satisfaction of the ending, you can understand how someone would say it's the best book of the century, right?
I could see someone making the argument, yeah. Like if kind of the subject matter is specifically something resonates with them, yeah, I could see the argument being made, yeah.
Now, obviously, this was written about World War II, and it was written circa Korean War, I think, actually.
61.
61? So, the American culture has obviously evolved in the decades between now and then. Where we have a very different opinion about war. World War II was the good war, right? And Catch-22 wanted to take a crack at that. Whereas our generation, millennials, I think both of you are also millennials, we've spent the last 20 years seeing every single armed conflict on the planet be just a farce. Nothing honorable is going on in wars today. It's land grabbing, it's money laundering, it is enforcing the petrodollar, it is not fighting a good fight like World War II was. So, I think today the book is going to land with people differently than it did in the 60s, right?
Yeah. Alright, for the record, I'm not a millennial, I'm younger, but
Zoomer? Yeah, I have a Zoomer!
2001, actually, so like just on the cusp of the millennial. But anyway, yeah, I was something about this book. It feels prophetic in a way. It embodies a lot of these attitudes about anti-war and the industrial and military complex that are very prevalent today, even in just kind of everyday discussion. Really, it feels very ahead of its time in terms of like the attitude it takes towards war. I was quite surprised with that.
Always play.
Was that?
I'm giving our third man an opportunity to speak up as he's tapping away.
I'm not tapping away. I'm right here.
Whose keyboard was just rattling? Come on, guys. This is a professional stream. Liar!
I wasn't lying, Author's Place said as he lied. I'm just trying to recreate the atmosphere of Catch-22 here for our viewers.
I do not tell a falsehood, proclaimed Author's Play as he extoliated a false truth.
Well, don't you know that lying is a sin, and nothing good can come from sins, but if he is benefiting from it, it therefore is not a lie.
You know, I have thought of becoming a chaplain at some times.
Chaplain was a great character. He was very punished in a lot of ways. A very sympathetic character. Maybe a bit goofy in the end, the way his character arc tied up. Definitely a victim of the industrial complex. I quite enjoyed his chapters, even though not funny. His chapters weren't funny. His chapters weren't action. They were just like, in a lot of ways, just suffering the stupidity of the people in charge, right?
Well, you need a straight man for anything, and I think he fulfilled that role quite nicely for a while.
Yeah, I feel like he had a very satisfying character arc without just completely giving into the batshit insanity.
Yeah, I do like
where his character went.
That's not a big spoiler in the ending, because we're 10 minutes in. Where his ending is reaffirming his faith and finding the resolve to persevere. But the dialogue at the end there, where he kind of went crazy. Is that just me?
Oh, he did, but that's
But yeah, if you want to stay in the war, you'd have to be crazy. It's Catch-22, right?
I would just say that's a consequence of having to go through everything that he did.
For the record, viewers, anyone who's tuning in that didn't read the book, Catch-22 the book coined the term Catch-22, where basically you can't do something because of a contradiction. The titular one is you don't have to fly missions to fight the war if you're crazy, but if you're trying to get out of immediate and clear danger to your body and to your life, that's a sign of a sane and rational mind, which means you're not crazy, which means you can't get out of the flights, which means you have to fly them. Catch-22.
Right, but I like how they brought Catch-22 back and made it something else in the closing chapters of the book.
It kept coming back. You do have to question Yossarian's reliability as a narrator, which kind of bugged me, but maybe that's because I'm a shallow reader or something.
I mean, you do not read Catch-22 for historical accuracy. They had a Lady of the Night teleport from Rome.
Well, yeah, no, that's a good point. Nately's girlfriend with the bread knife could not possibly have actually been happening. That has to have been a delusion.
We know it happened at least a couple times.
At least the one time that they have the report about the Nazi assassin, yes. But like,
you mean the WW2 bad guy assassin? Because some words on YouTube we're not allowed to say. Remember?
I've never got the impression Yossarian's like an unreliable narrator. I just feel like that whole thing with Nately's whore is like the only time she really attacks him outside of Rome or when he's on the plane, because she kind of like gets on the plane and then like twice near the very end. But I feel like
he ties her up.
Depends on how much time has passed, really, and like I don't think it's ever explicitly said how much time passed. So maybe she's insanely resourceful and found a way there in like a week or something.
Bruh. He ties her up, puts her on a plane, and flies 100 miles beyond enemy lines and shoves her out the cargo bay door with a parachute, and then leaves her there. And she just makes it back. I guess that's about as believable as rowing to Sweden, right?
I mean, that's kind of the point. The book was written by effectively cartoon logic. It's not supposed to be accurate. It's supposed to be allegorical.
You know, actually, that raises a good question. Should Catch-22 have been adapted as a cartoon?
You know what? It probably would have done a lot better job than the live-action movies.
It has two adaptations. One from like the 70s, which was just a movie, which I probably should have watched before this live stream. But it also had a Clint Eastwood miniseries recently, I think, that is clogging all the Google results. Did I get the name wrong?
I never watched it. I wrote it off as another friggin' cash-in, but Eastwood's got some skill. I might actually give it a look then. I did not know he was attached to the project.
Maybe not Clint Eastwood. Maybe I'm an idiot, because I actually do not know. George Clooney is Scheisskoff. Christopher Abbott is Yossarian. Kyle Chandler is Colonel Cathcart.
I don't know about the cast. Who friggin' directed it? That's what's gonna save her, damn it.
Oh yeah, and for those not literate in German, Scheisskopf is a literal translation of shithead, which I did a bit of German. I found that very funny.
Yes.
George Clooney is the executive producer. I apologize. That's my idiocy with Hollywood celebrities. George Clooney was the executive producer.
It's the same thing.
Keanu Reeves, you know.
Literally, I probably could not name 5 George Clooney movies. I'm not sure I can name a George Clooney movie if you put me on the spot.
Syriana, oh brother, where art thou? That's 3.
Do you like him? I don't even know. I don't even know whether to expect the miniseries to be good.
All I know George Clooney is he has like a satellite for some reason. He tried to loan, and I think like a few years back, George Clooney owned some kind of satellite, and I think it was like the US government or something that wanted to borrow it to spy on some African warlord or some shit. I don't know, that's all I know about George Clooney. I couldn't name one of his films.
It is the weirdest tidbit of knowledge I've heard today.
It's probably only like half true. I only heard this like years ago. I faintly remember it.
Okay, so none of us actually watched the adaptation, and I'm not sure if this book lends itself to adaptation. Particularly in a miniseries, because the entire narrative structure is that for 95% of the book, the plot is driven by the fact that Yossarian doesn't want to fly more missions, because Snowden, that's his name? Yeah. Died in his plane, in his arms, basically. And people say that, well, he doesn't want to fly because the kid died on him. And you get told that throughout the entire book, with it being held back the entire time, and you don't actually get the flashback scene, because a lot of the scenes are out of linear order, right?
It's chronological order. Yeah.
It's pretty close to chronological order, but it does jump around a lot.
Yeah, I think it's broken into certain chunks. I think a lot of the middle of the book takes place in that big siege of Bologna, and then it kind of goes back to Yossarian trying to get the fuck out of duty. I think that's the biggest kind of chronological break. A lot of the books focused on what happened to Bologna.
I think it opens. I think the opening chapters are like shortly after Bologna. Then it kind of goes back to cover that. I guess the explanation of everything going on with Milo is kind of a big flashback through the entire course of the war. Which, by the way, M&M Enterprises was ridiculous. I loved those chapters, even if they were completely stupid.
I love the fact that like he unfailingly manages to come up with explanations. A bird just flew into my window. That is weird. He unfailingly comes up with explanations. Oh no, this is for the good of the company. Oh no, this is I'm not actually doing this.
What's good for M&M Enterprises is good for America.
The world. Yeah,
Everyone has a stake.
He unfailingly comes up with those excuses right up until his last scene, where Yossarian's trying desperately to get him to help him, and he just all of a sudden, no, I have to smuggle tobacco. I have to smuggle tobacco. And he fucking
so he's completely consumed by greed. And yet he does try to be Yossarian's friend. And it's kind of a tragic ending there to that entire plot arc.
Yeah, like he genuinely does like Yossarian. I think a lot of the other characters as well. He does say, you've all got a stake in this. I think he is trying to work something good out for all of them. At the end, is just kind of at the expense of everyone else.
No, I don't believe he's trying to help anyone else. Maybe
No.
Yossarian because he feels a connection, but no, if you had any doubt that ship was afloat, that got sunk when the one guy finally had enough and said, "Screw it, give me my share," and he just writes on a piece of paper a share and hands it off like he's king of the world.
Fair enough. I don't know, definitely with Yossarian at some level. Like he's treating Yossarian in a preferential manner. If that makes sense.
Yeah. So, but it's because of their friends, which means that's kind of self-serving thing people do. Or well, he's my friend. I don't want to send him into. I don't want to ruin Yossarian. I don't want to send him into more bombing runs. But it does. It is good for the company.
Yeah. Then again, I think Milo's generosity has limits because when they go to Rome to search for Naley's horse kid's sister, Milo is trying to help him at first, but then he's just like, as soon as he gets a chance to smuggle illegal tobacco, he's like, all right, fuck that 12-year-old, go find her on your own. Bye.
Hello, John A. Douglas. Welcome to the chat.
Hello, John.
You're just joining.
Hello.
Short version is Catch-22 is 10 out of 10. That's what we're here to debate. As I said at the beginning, there's quite a bit of slog. Like I think Joseph L. tried really hard. For example, with the CID inquisition of the chaplain for when they're accusing him of being Washington Irving. I really didn't enjoy that chapter at all, though. It just didn't land for me. Maybe it's because.
I enjoyed the build up more than the kind of the payoff. The payoff was kind of just, oh, that's happened. But all the stuff leading up to about, major signing everything in Washington Irving's name just for stupid fucking reasons. I thought that was great. Then it kind of all came back to the chapel all of a sudden. I was like, oh, that kind of just happened then. Like,
I'm honestly surprised that Major vanished when he did. I thought he would be coming back.
So did I. Like, I didn't think he actually ran away.
Well, I mean, it's because, like, everyone's trying to run away. How did he do it? Apparently, he succeeded.
When's the last time he was even mentioned? Because I genuinely can't remember the last time he was mentioned.
He vanished at, like, the 2/3 mark.
Yeah.
That's kind of when a lot of them stop disappearing, though, isn't it? So it kind of blends into it.
Well, no, that's when a lot of them start dying.
Yeah, we're 20 minutes in. We can start talking about spoilers.
Yeah.
For the record, this is a book where I don't think getting spoiled will hurt your experience.
Moreover, to the point, it's like a 40-year-old.
Yeah, that too.
Maybe a 50-year-old book.
60-year-old.
60?
62.
All right, then.
Even.
Guys, I'm just saying,
Man.
10 years ago isn't 1993. It's not. It's 2003 was 10 years ago.
No!
Oh god, I'm too.
Okay, so well, let's see here. Did you guys like the skits at the beginning? I like just about all of them except the "Why do you have chestnuts in your cheeks?"
I thought that chestnut thing was stupid.
It was pretty stupid. It went way too long actually.
Yeah,
And
all the opening skits that felt. I don't want to say childish. That's kind of it. You got flies in your eyes and
That was
chestnuts in
funny.
your cheeks. I was like, really? I was like, where is this trying to lead somewhere? Am I missing something? But no, it just kind of seems.
the introduction for Chief White Hathaway.
Easy on you for the beginning, but no.
I have to think that the reason of that was so that you would think that Orr told bad jokes and was kind of a simpleton. Much like Yossarian, you'll never think that he actually was working on this master scheme that he actually pulls off in the end.
You know what? Fair enough. I'm charitable for that interpretation. Yep.
Well, I would be as well, except they repeated the entire skit.
Yeah, true.
Like literally the entire "Why do you have rubber balls in your cheeks?" thing was duplicated 5 or 6 chapters later in the book.
Well, in fairness, though, running jokes are definitely a thing in this book. Between Catch-22, between the chestnuts in your cheeks, and there were like 2 others that I'm having trouble remembering right now.
I feel like a lot of the best jokes in the books were ones that were set up early on and didn't seem like jokes at first, but then they come back once later to incredibly hilarious effects.
Yeah, like
that was
they're
what
called,
the biggest laugh brick
yeah,
jokes.
those are called brick jokes.
Yeah, I feel like that was
Me
what the
too.
book was relying on a lot more than just the running gags, which I think that's why the running gags themselves didn't really hit as hard.
Yeah, like the old man hitting Major DeCoverly with a friggin' rose.
And the
Major DeCoverly.
Major DeCoverly.
DeCoverly.
2020 style. Major DeCoverly.
Major no,
All right, so in my opinion, the funniest bit from the beginning of the book was the introduction of Chief White Half-Oak. The explanation of them getting chased around by oil drillers actually had me like dying as I was listening to it. The payoff with the rest of him and the rest of the story was maybe overshadowed by how funny his backstory was. Thoughts?
I feel like the stuff of him threatening to slit who was his name? Yeah, the other guy's throat, and that kind of kept popping back up when you kind of least expect it.
One of the 40 characters that die.
I like the fact that it's a running joke. Oh yeah, I'm gonna die of pneumonia, blah, 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 and then he dies of pneumonia.
He dies of pneumonia almost like it's an afterthought. It's just like, oh, he just went and died of pneumonia.
Well, there's also Hungry Joe having recurring nightmares that he's gonna suffocate in his sleep. Then he suffocates in his sleep.
Yeah, because of the damn cat.
God, that paid off brilliantly.
Pretty tragically, but it also was like really necessary to like the plot beats of that final chapter.
Yeah. Plus, reincorporating the brick joke. It's probably like the longest held brick joke in the entire book. I think it's first set up probably like the first third, and then it only comes back to haunt him right at the final hurdle. It's just beautiful.
By the way, did you guys sympathize with the Yossarian losing his shit over Orr tinkering with tiny little things?
Yeah, I could see that, yeah. That's not something I really picked up on too much, but Ariel's saying it, yeah, I can get it. It's like he's on a plane that's all full of fragile shit, and that's kind of associated with all his worst, most traumatic memories. Because it's not like Snowden's only mentioned at the end. Snowden's alluded to throughout the whole book, and something bad happened with Snowden on a plane, so you can kind of reasonably assume Yossarian kind of has bad experiences with planes in general. So I could kind of get being a bit freaked out over stop messing with tiny things like fuck everything up.
All right, so we're at about the half-hour mark. I think this is deep enough into the live stream to breach into why the ending was so good. As I said, the actual scene of Snowden dying is withheld from the reader until the very end. And it is written without a shred of humor. It is a fully sincere and intense scene. Going through painstakingly all the events between the flak hitting the plane to Yossarian holding him as he dies. Nothing is cut out. It's not too long, but it gets all the attention it could possibly get as he works through every stage of trying to treat the leg, trying to tourniquet it, trying to wrap it up and stop the blood flow and do everything right, only to realize that another piece of flak went through the guy's chest, and there's nothing that can be done. Excellent. Like a lot of worse books have definitely tried to do flashback payoff at the end to explain something that's been alluded to. I cannot think of a single book that did it as well as Catch-22 did here for the withheld idea, the payoff it got, the intensity. It just worked really well.
Yeah, it worked fantastically, but I don't entirely agree that it was just like devoid of humor. There was that tiniest bit of levity with the, I think it was the lieutenant. Just he keeps getting back.
No,
on
yeah,
true. Some scenes, but like I said, that's moderate. That's just a little bit of levity to stop it from getting completely horrific. It's just it's the occasional reminder of, hey, just chill out a bit. But otherwise, yeah, the scene is very heavy, and I think it was really well executed.
You know that the guy that keeps fainting is a main character in the sequel.
I do not plan to read the sequel. I hear it's actually quite bad.
Yep.
Same.
I couldn't even find a full summary of it. I just thought.
Yeah, same. I was looking up, not even Wikipedia has like a single synopsis of it, which is bizarre.
Now, every once in a while, a book gets famous and the publisher says, give us a sequel, it'll sell great. And the author is like, I need money.
I don't know, but like Closing Time came out, 30 years after Catch-22? Like, I'm more confused why you bother.
Alright, so that was one thing that was executed really well, taking advantage of the fact that the story is no part of it is written linearly. The other part was the final chapter, which, good God, I guess if you don't want to get spoiled on that, just click off now, but not before you hit the like button and you subscribe and you check the links in the description. Get out of here if you don't want to be spoiled, though. Throughout the course of the book, one by one, by dozens, by half dozens, all of the named characters get killed off. There's 30 characters at the start of the story, and I swear by the end of the book, there's like 5 remaining named characters that have survived. Maybe 7.
Yep. And most of those, the characters that survived, are the ones you don't want to survive.
Yeah, the commanders. It's the Scheisskoffs, the Peckhams, the Cathcarts, the Corns. Which, by the way, the pal scene, you'll be my pal, won't you? With Cathcart and Corn, was actually really good.
That was great. I feel like the most concerning part of the book is what happened to Dunbar, because he doesn't die, he doesn't go AWOL. He kind of gets taken by the colonels. Are like, hey, buddy, why don't you come with us? And you just never see him again. And, like, it is played up a bit comedic in the moment, but then you kind of think of it like devoid of that vacuum, and you're thinking, wow, they just fucking unperson that guy. What the fuck have they done to him?
Yep.
Alright, but one of the main characters that dies is Orr, his roommate. Which, by the way, I thought it was actually like very allegorically like nice that throughout the entire book, Yossarian's problem is that there's a dead guy in his tent. But he means the dead guy's stuff, right?
Yeah.
And no one will take responsibility for it because basically a mix-up in the paperwork, but like it's very obviously there just the metaphor of Yossarian is living with, the deaths of his friend, the people around him, and he can't. He's just stuck in this pianos in hell But the guy he's friends with is Orr, who keeps getting shot down, but always gets fished out, survives, comes back, and does it again because he's practicing for what if I actually get shot down.
Yeah, and what's important to note is every time he gets shot down, all the people on his plane survive as well.
But still, Yossarian won't ever fly with him. Or being a pilot, Yossarian being the bombardier to actually drop the bombs. Because Yossarian's entire motivation is he's trying to survive, right? So he's too scared to fly with his friend because his friend always gets shot down. And then maybe 80% through the book, Or gets shot down. Everyone else gets picked up by the Navy, like the Coast Guard or something like that. But they lost track of Orr. He was on his own raft and he vanished. Never seen again. And that's one of the big blows to Yossarian's psyche, and that it's after that is when he's walking around with a gun saying, "I'm not flying another mission. I'll shoot you first." Oh, we didn't even mention that the literal plot is Yossarian was supposed to get sent home after 50 missions, but the crazy people in charge of his unit, it was originally 40, and then command bumped it to 50, and then in order to get a highlight in the newspaper, Cathcart and Corn and everyone is just keep bumping it up. Until he's flown 78 missions and they still won't let him go home.
Yeah, Cathcart's just keeps bumping up the missions by 5 every single time they're threatened to be able to leave, and he's both trying to get a piece in the newspaper and he's trying to suck up to his commanders, but his commanders literally just do not give a shit. They're like, hey, whatever.
Yep.
Brilliant.
So at that point, Yossarian just kind of breaks, and he's like, "I'm not doing it. You can court-martial me if you want, but I'm a decorated war veteran at this point. It'll look bad on you." And some other stuff happens, but I'm just jumping forward to the end. The payoff is Orr survives. One of the closest friend of all the people that die in the war, he survived. Not only did he survive, he planned it. All those fake crashes were to prep himself to get just the right crash on the right current, on the right day, in the right fog and all that, so that he could book it out of Gibraltar, around the coast, and land in Sweden, which is set up at the very beginning of the book, where everyone's just like, "Oh man, you want to go to Sweden? It's nothing but milk runs and beautiful women." And Orr frickin' rows all the way there, washes up and says, "See you later, suckers," basically. But it's after him point blank saying, "Yossarian, fly on my plane tomorrow."
Yeah, he tries to get his buddy in on it, and Yossarian just does not take the hint, and he kicks himself in the butt hard later.
Well, it also gives him the hope, right?
Oh yeah, I mean,
yeah, I like the twist, but that's kind of my only real grievance with it. Is I feel like Orr is friends with Yossarian, right? They are outright friends. They trust each other. I feel like Orr would have tried maybe a bit harder to kind of get Yossarian on board, even if he wasn't taking the hints. I feel like the only real risk would be Yossarian going to command and saying, "Hey, Colonel Cathcart, he's trying to ditch the unit," but Yossarian wants to fucking get out of there as well. I don't think it'd be that. I just don't know why Orr wouldn't be a bit more explicit about it. But then again, it's insane cartoon logic, so maybe something's wrong.
But you got to remember that other people have also been trying to involve Yossarian in their various schemes. Most notably, that one, oh god, I can't remember his name. The dude that wants to kill the colonel.
And Danby, does he?
Oh yeah.
Or was it Dobbs?
Yeah, it was Dobbs.
Dobbs, yeah.
Dobby. Anyway, but he turns them all down, so maybe he got the impression that
I mean, I'm not going to hold the plot there to too strict a realistic standard, because I'm perfectly willing to accept it as it happened that way because it structured the book right to make the right impression on the reader.
Probably. Joseph Heller's attitude towards accuracy can be summed up in a quick snippet regarding his doomed sequel, in which someone noticed that Yossarian is 20 years younger than he should be, based on when the events of Catch-22 happened. And his response was, "Yeah, I know, but I don't care."
Yeah, Catch-22 itself is full of these little like anachronisms. It's got, I think it mentions like IBM machines at one point, something like that. I'm like, isn't this set in World War II? Were they even around that? IBM.
Find out.
Only there was some sort of magical computing device that could answer our questions.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. Yeah. So,
All right.
The first commercial stored program computer was the IBM 701 in 1952. So they're discussing stuff that didn't even exist past.
No, the military. Well, actually, no, they didn't have computers. Cause that World War II was when they built like the Enigma machine.
No, I'm talking about like commercial IBM machines and all that.
Well, the first IBMs were government projects.
Yeah, but like the first commercial ones, like the 50s. Yeah, but what I'm saying is like, yeah, Joseph Alacona mixes stuff from his own time as of when he wrote it and the actual setting of the book itself, so it kind of creates this weird, like, kind of grounded, but also a bit fantastical. But the same, that makes sense.
All right. Are there any other major plot
Close
points
enough.
that we should touch on?
Can you repeat yourself, please?
Are there any other major plot points that we should touch on? Nately's girlfriend getting mad with him. I think after Yossarian explains the meaning of it, I was perfectly satisfied with it. You guys?
I didn't hear the first half of that sentence.
Nately's girlfriend snapping and trying to kill him. Yossarian, like, a couple pages later, justifies why she's trying to kill Yossarian, even though Yossarian had nothing to do with it.
He's a scapegoat, effectively.
Yep.
Oh yeah. I think that was a good last minute gag. I think it got used quite effectively. It was strange and it was funny, but it also kind of genuinely contributed to the plot in like a surprising way. It's like one last. It's like the most dangerous Yossarian ever comes into contact with, and it's a fucking woman. It's one he didn't even do anything wrong to.
Well, the capriciousness of the universe is a gigantic theme in the book, so his biggest threat being something that he doesn't really even deserve is about on point.
Yeah, I am wondering though, like, what did she do about her sister? Like, so it's mentioned her kid sister's like still in Rome, even though when she's actively trying to chase Nately, and I was like, I was kind of unsatisfied with how they kind of just left that thread hanging. They do at the end of the book say, "Oh, Yossarian's going to try and find her and bring her to Sweden with him." But I was like, you've already had an entire chapter in Rome trying to find her, and all that really accomplished was Milo selling fucking tobacco and Arthur going, "Oh yeah, I'll raped and murdered some chick, lol." I was like,
Yeah,
it feels like a weird thread to end on when that was already an explored element to the narrative. I feel like that wasn't wrapped up very satisfyingly.
Well, we all know that that's your favorite chapter, you know.
Well, he never paid for it.
Which one's my favorite?
The one you were just bitching about.
No, my favorite's Mrs. Danica.
I know, I was being sarcastic. I actually liked the Rome chapter. I thought it was what it effectively was a tour with everything that's wrong with the world through the eyes of Yossarian.
I feel like the entire book has already been exploring what's wrong with the entire world with Yossarian. Yeah, maybe it's maybe a microcosm could help, but it felt really meandering. Like by the time I was half an hour into it, I was like, "What the fuck's even going on?" It feels like it's going in circles. Which, yeah, fair. That's the point of the book, but it was really pushing it in that chapter, and then towards the end of the chapter, it just kind of ends up being like, "Oh yeah, Arthur's a horrible fucking human being."
Oh.
Like, it felt a bit aimless.
Guys, we have a problem. Evele just showed up and said that for the past 40 minutes, the output on YouTube has been too quiet. And nobody mentioned that for 40 minutes.
John! I love John Slip.
Is quiet, third dude is third. So I'm silent as the grave, which is weird because I streamed something like 2 days ago and my audio was fine. wonder if it's a gilded. Oh, you know what? It might be because we're on gilded.
I'm trying to balance the two of you because Kishin Joe is a lot louder than you are, Authors Play. Whatever.
Hang on for 1 second.
The viewers can just deal with the fact that I just changed everyone's volumes a lot.
All right, what about now?
We'd have to hear from them.
Hey, boys.
Evlay is not caught up.
You sound good, Craig. Everyone else is audible, but significantly quieter than Craig. No.
Well, that's how it should be, shouldn't it? He's the big boss man of this chat.
He's the Colonel Cathcart of this chat.
Yeah.
He's going to make us stream 5 more minutes at the end of the stream. Another 5.
Well, I do need to add on my road rage story. Oh my god, I am still mad about this asshole. We can save that for after the wrap-up on the book, though. But honestly, though, so much of the book is just like gags and skits and getting you attached to characters and then killing them off. Which makes for a good product. It's a good book, but there's honestly not that much to discuss. Like, a lot of the humor, it's either going to work or it's not. Like, I think the entire thing with Arfie was supposed to be like a punchline, basically, of absurdism. You know, it's a dark humor, a dark comedy, or whatever you want to call it.
I don't think that scene was supposed to be funny. I'm positive that was supposed to be a shock.
I think it was meant to be funny because there's this running joke of, well, I did rape and murder this nice young lady, but at least I didn't pay for a prostitute, and that makes me morally superior. There is that joke. I enjoy that joke conceptually. It just feels incredibly cruel compared to what other characters have done so far. Other characters are just like, well, I'm a bureaucratic dickhead. I keep raising missions for everyone else. Then all of a sudden, it's just this guy's like, oh, I just raped and murdered this chick, and then
Did you
just
miss
like,
the part
what?
where? Did you miss the part where the colonel's like, "We're going to slaughter this village for no particular reason, just to
No, it's
delay
because
the
it'll look
Germans
good in the
2 days?"
pictures.
Yeah.
Like,
This is not the first time something monstrous has happened in this book.
The Colonel is the antagonist. The Colonel is the bad guy. You expect him to be a massive dickhead.
Everyone goes along with it. Everyone goes along with it except for Dunbar.
Because they have to. It's Catch-22, my boy. Everyone has
That's
to.
That's the point! That's the point, you ignorant slut!
Yes. No, what I'm saying is,
Rome chapter.
Motherfucker, listen, Arfie disappears from the plot for like a third of the book, and then suddenly out of nowhere he's like, I raped and murdered that bitch. Yeah, boy. And I'm just like, where did this come from?
I'll be right back. Continue this. Clearly, I need liquor. 1 sec.
Listen, all right, while Craig is away, then I'm going to play. Listen to this. That is the entire point of the Rome chapter, though. Look, they have that mission to bomb the poor innocent village that everyone but Dunbar goes along with. And like half the point in the Rome thing is that repeatedly Yossarian keeps seeing horrible things happening and everyone is aware of it and everyone's watching and no one helps and they all turn away, and that is half the fucking point of the book. Is that like these things happen because no one does anything. It's like, oh, why didn't everyone just, not bomb the village? Oh, well, I want to stand up to Colonel Cathcart. Okay, why doesn't anyone help that poor dog being beaten by the cruel man? It's none of my business. Why doesn't anyone save that child being murdered in the alley? I don't know what's going on here. It's like repeatedly, it like drills it into your head, so I don't know how you missed it. How did you miss it, kid?
Here's what I'm saying, right? I know the point of the book is men are driven to horrors by war because people above them fucking make them do it or they'll shoot them, right? Thing is, the thing with Arthur kind of just comes out of left field. It's not something he's pushed into by Kafka. It's just like if he suddenly feels like he's being evil and malicious for the sake, but like he disappears from the plot. He suddenly does something that's really evil and malicious, and it's not something you could justify by saying, Cathcart made me do it. Colonel Corn sent me to rape and murder that poor woman. It's just like Arfie's had a mental break, and I'm like, okay, it's been about 10 fucking years since we've seen him being discussed. What does this mean to me?
Two things. First of all, if you pay attention to what Arfie's thinking and saying throughout the entire thing, the dude is probably like a low-key sociopath or something, because everything he says and does is basically, how can this benefit me? But like taken to the nth degree. Maybe not quite so bad as the other cartoon cutouts we have for a cast, but there you go. I think the main point of that entire scene is because this horrible crime is happening, and Yossarian's like, they're coming for you. They're coming for you right now. You're going to jail. You can't get away with this. And then the MPs show up, and they don't give a shit about that. They're instead mad that Yossarian is in here without a pass.
Yeah, I get that.
That is the joke.
Yes, I know that's the joke. I'm saying is, I don't feel like Arthur was introduced back into it gracefully.
Kissinger, please. Stop making out with your microphone.
That wasn't me.
Did I just blame Kissinger for your fault, Author's Play?
Yes, you did.
That's strange because all I did was move the mic away from my mouth so I could cough and not have, like...
Yes, that's what microphones tend to do when you move them.
Right, so, like, how bad is this?
Oh, God. What the...
Please stop. Please.
Dude, I will kick you. Do that one more time and I will boot you.
I thought I was making the problem better. All right, then. So noted.
Yeah.
How the hell do you cough without fucking up the stream, then, if you can't move your
Press
mic?
the mute button on your computer.
Move your head away from the computer.
Move your head away to breathe. No, but I have a headset, so the mic goes with me.
Press
You're
the
saying
mute
that there's
button.
some sort of button. There's some sort of button on this computer that will mute me.
On Gilded, yes, there is. There is a mute button at the very bottom.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Learning has occurred, which is more than anyone in Catch-22 can say. I don't think anyone learned a single lesson in that book, except the chaplain.
I would disagree.
He learned that it's good to sin.
I think Yossarian learned that he should just run away.
So Yossarian's entire... Yossarian is like a negative plot arc. Because at the start of the war, he's like happy and living a good life, and then he is broken and spends the entire book trying to get back to like a normal psychic level, right? Freaking Carl Jung screwed up my vocabulary. You know what I meant, though.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
We're all young at heart.
A state of mental equilibrium, let's say.
So, it in a lot of ways, it's like a recovery story. Which, by the way, I just need to check something, because as mentioned previously, I listened to this on Audible, and I didn't listen to the last half hour, because it cut into readings from Joseph Heller reading the book, significantly worse than the professional voice actor they had. Like, the actual quality of the narrator they hired was good. And I skipped the last half hour, which means, as I believe, it ends with Yossarian running out of the hospital in his uniform, trying to make a break for it, right?
He learns about all going to Sweden, and the chaplain and a few of us come in. Chaplain and Major Danby, yeah. But Danby's kind of trying to talk him out of it, saying, "Oh, you can't do that. You got to stay for the good of the country." And then the chaplain's kind of coming in, egging him on. Yeah, do it, son, something to that effect. And then Yossarian's like, "Right, I'm gonna take a leave to Rome, find Nately's whore's kid sister.
Nately's girlfriend's kid sister.
Nately's whore's kid sister.
No, like, she's not his whore. They started dating. Come on. You didn't notice that the name changed?
She is. Oh, in the audiobook I read, she's referred to as Nately's whore throughout the entire book. So that's the name.
Interesting. I'm pretty sure after she wakes up in love with him, it's changed to Nately's girlfriend.
Not on my edition.
No, my edition was Nately's.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
I don't feel like confirming that, though.
Did you get censored, James?
No, she was, until that moment, she was Nately's whore.
He read the Respecting Women edition. Disgusting.
I swear it just changed at the end.
Anyway,
there's just a page. There's this one sentence for the one. Arfie did a naughty thing. Next scene.
No.
Anyway, back to what was it? Nately's whore. Yossarian says, "I'm going to go to Rome, find Nately's whore's kid sister," which he tried to do a few chapters before he couldn't because Milo fucked off to sell tobacco, and then he's going to take her to Sweden and basically raise her because, his sister's a fucking psychopath trying to kill him. And then right as he's running out the door, Knightley's whore is waiting right there with a bread knife or something. And he basically leaps past her and just runs off into the sunset for Rome. And that's pretty much it.
Kishinjo, you missed the point. She trades in the bread knife for a carving knife.
This is progression.
This is progression through her knife arc.
Yeah, she starts with a potato peeler, and then she goes to
a bread knife,
a steak knife, then a bread knife, and then a carving knife. She's like a video game. She's leveling up. She's getting better gear.
Now that is what you want in character progression.
I was going to bring up Lit RPG, but yeah, video game works too. That time when I had to kill my my buddy's friend because I'm a whore.
All right, we've been talking about this for 50 minutes. I think we covered all the major points. So, I'm going to throw it back on you guys. I'll actually lead on this. Because the point of this book club is there's supposed to be shill opportunities here at the end here. Because I truly, genuinely believe that if you're like me, if you're like the two of you here, if you are trying to create good stories and content and comics and novels and you name it, you gotta read the good stuff. You gotta absorb, you gotta learn, you gotta practice, study, analyze, think about things, and absorb what you can. Which is why I'm trying to choose like good, influential books that have driven the progression of the books being produced today, or influenced by the books from 20 years ago, and on and on, all the way back to the Greeks, basically, for Europeans. So, I just want to come out and say that had I read Catch-22 a year and a half ago, I probably would have written my second book, Ship of Fools, differently. Because Ship of Fools does rely on withholding some information about why Space Ranger Marcus Maximus is a wanted man until about the 2/3 mark. And I put in a flashback, which a lot of people typically hate flashbacks. So I had it, at the time, I had it in my head that like, they're dangerous to use, people don't really like them. And I didn't have like ready examples of them being used well. And had I read Catch-22 before Ship of Fools, I probably would have structured a lot of the foreshadowing setup differently. And probably made a much better book, to be honest. But I'm still happy with Ship of Fools, alright? I think that's a great science fiction, stuck on a ship as hell breaks loose. But, to be honest, progress, development. I can learn from good books, and I think any aspiring writer can as well.
Yeah, I do feel like this will make for very useful reading material, like regardless of my small little gripes of it. I do have kind of like a dark comedy in the works, probably more like teenage target audience, maybe not quite as heavy as Catch-22, but it's definitely it's shown me quite a bit how well you need to structure your jokes and like set them up in advance and all sort of stuff. It's made for useful reading. It's made for useful field research. Let's say.
We're gonna see the influences when his next book comes out, and there's a whore stalking the main character with a bread knife through the entire book.
No, the only girls in my next book are cute girls that are for like anime harem bait.
Not very based. My comedy one, it's about like a 14-year-old, so I don't know why a hooker would be stalking her.
Moving
on. Yeah! Back away, not today.
Actually, there is a cowboy stalking her for like half the book, but that's... I'm gonna make you all read it to understand that.
Give him a bread knife and you're set.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I just might actually. Let me know.
It makes me want to write a non-linear story though, but none of the ideas I have like drafted or outlined really lend itself to that. And that's probably for the best right now, because I think as soon as someone found out that a book from like a basically no-name indie author is non-linear, they just go, and forget that. Next, moving on.
In fairness, it's so hard to pull off that unless your name has cred, people are probably going to just go turn 360 degrees and moonwalk away from it.
Yeah, probably.
360 degrees.
Did you just miss a meme? Oh, obviously we forgot. He's a zoomer. He doesn't know these memes.
Zoom, zoom, zoom. Hey, 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 yeah.
And I am I feel old. Okay, my back feels old. I work retail. I'm an honorary boomer. Actually, that means everyone wants to kill me.
All right, so everyone listening, please, typical YouTube things. The two guests I have, their links should be in the description right now. Please give them some support if you feel like supporting me and turn them and all that. But I probably should have mentioned that this is a open book club. Like I announce a book at the beginning of every month. It's just one book. I'm probably not going to pick a book as long as Catch-22 ever again. This month, August, a lot of people have already finished it actually because that's why I have Elric of Melnibone here.
Melnibone.
On the bone.
Melnibone. Because the first book of this pulp successor novel. This is definitely after the pulps, but it's directly influenced by pulps. The first book here, self-titled Elric of Melnibone, is August's book, and if you want to be an overachiever, you can also read the second one. And you should totally click the link in the description for the Gilded, because it's just open. Everyone can join and chat and talk about these things. You can have a little community of book readers, and I'm doing my best to pick good books for discussion that people will be better off for having read. Particularly authors and creatives and all that. I think Catch-22 hit that goal out of the park, even if it was shockingly long, to be honest.
This is part of Craig's long-term scheme. When he gets like 100 people in the book club, he's gonna say, "All right, so this month's book is Faceless by James Craig. You all have to go out and buy it now."
No, so actually, you're joking, but my official policy is if you don't like the book I chose for the book club, that's a great time to buy one of my books. You know, if next month you don't want to read the sci-fi book I pick out, well, how about this book, this sci-fi book by an independent author who's trying to revamp the cyberpunk genre? Link in the description, Gamma Coin. I may have actually screwed myself with this title, because if I tweet the title Gamma Coin, I might run into a lot of people's filters. I think a lot of people disabled seeing any tweet with the word coin or crypto in it. Even though it's a plot point that there's this underground gang funding itself with cryptocurrency. Because I was like, it's topical, it's the technology of the day, it's worth examining. But I think a lot of people are just like, ugh, cryptocurrency. I don't want to see anything related to cryptocurrency or NFTs. Ugh.
Why did you change it? It was dateless originally, wasn't it?
Well, he's not dateless, though. That was the problem. Like, literally, the character in this book who's dateless is Ram, Elliot's partner. She's the one that can't get a date, not either of the perspective characters.
I thought half the thing was that, like,
yeah,
is running.
The criminal's girlfriend cheats on him and causes the inciting incident. And then he's single until he just, like, immediately scores a very cute girl. That's the problem.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. If he's single for most of the book, I think he could have probably squeezed that in there, but...
Yeah, but,
okay, so maybe it wasn't the best. Gamma Coin probably... Yeah, no.
I'm just wondering where...
Titles are hard.
Titles are very
Alpha
hard.
Coin, Beta Coin, Omega Coin, and Delta Coin are an episode.
No. So the reason it's called Gamma Coin is because in my mega city here, it's like a Judge Dredd mega city, and it's roughly 80 stories tall, mostly. And the city self-divided into 4 strata, going from Alpha up at the top, where you actually have fresh air, and that's where, like, the elite live. And then Beta is people that are, like, upper middle class, basically. And then you go down to floors 20 through 40. That's called Delta, even though that's not the order of the Greek alphabet. And the bottom 20 floors are called Gamma. And then the subsurface infrastructure of the city is Epsilon level. So it's called Gamma Coin because the people who minted it are at ground floor.
Yeah. I love seeing people all like, oh, actually, Gamma comes before Delta. Shut up. No one cares.
So, further, in my defense, the reason I have Delta as floors 20 through 40 is because Delta means change. And that's actually the region where like capitalism thrives. And if you work hard and make a good business, you actually can get up to beta. You can get out of the slums and into a pretty good life situation. That's why I chose Delta there. I'm an engineering nerd.
Delta is a malleable class.
Yep. I had a lot of fun writing in that setting. But this isn't a stream to talk about that. We are now at the 1 hour mark, which means we're in bonus time for this live stream. By the way, this is like, I'm just gonna remind everyone, it's an open invite for like creatives and indies that want to join the book club. If you read the book, which I think is worth your time, side note, I cannot walk away from an indie or from a creator fast enough as soon as I find out that they don't have time to read. What about you guys?
Time to what?
If an author tells me that, oh, you should read my book, but then you find out that they don't read books themselves, I cannot leave that person fast enough. I have no trust that they produce a good book.
A red flag, yeah.
Huge red flag.
Yeah, not a complete, like, 100% deal breaker, but I feel like having some, at least some awareness, like, at least some background of reading books in recent history, it's going to definitely contribute to rights.
I have one exception to that, and that's if they have read a lot, like in the past, and like just in like maybe in the last couple of years they've just been too busy. That's acceptable. It's not great, but it's acceptable.
That's kind of where I was, but I have picked up.
That sounds like copium.
While writing here, like I kind of fell out of reading for a long time after some of the shit high school gave me.
I would also point out, Craig, that you had to listen to this on audiobook rather than actually read it.
Well, excuse me. That's because I'm physically reading Dracula's Wars here right now, which is some of the driest Balkan nonsense you could imagine. Okay? I read paperbacks.
Well, maybe you should have listened to Dracula's Wars on audiobook and actually read Catch-22 then.
So half of my bookshelf is taken up by House of Leaves. Okay, I really need to be careful what the hell I'm putting on my shelf. I've barely any space in it.
Half of your bookshelf is taken up by one book?
I'm joking, but House of Leaves is fucking massive.
It is, and I'm going to be reading that soon. I physically own it. I have like the full color and enhanced edition, and I've been meaning to read it.
I've been meaning to read it as well. I first heard about it from like this Doom wad going around based around like some guy's house, and apparently that's got a big plot to play in it. So I was like, you know what, this seems like a weird kind of wacky book that I kind of want to check out. So I'll pick it up.
I've been advised that what I should do is spread it out over like a 4-week read along and like read the first quarter of the book, make a video talking about how I'm experiencing it, read the second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. Because it's like that big and that complicated of a book. That sounds like good content to me.
I've heard it's very difficult just to even read it. Apparently it really fucks around with the structure of a conventional book. That kind of like meta fourth wall breaking way.
Yeah, that's fine by me. I hear it's done well. Okay, so we're in bonus time because this was meant to be a 1 hour live stream. I'm giving my road rage story. I don't know about you guys, but I live in Michigan, and MDOT is the most incompetent frickin' people you can ever imagine for scheduling road construction. But they love blocking off lanes forever with their frickin' orange barrels. All right.
Have you heard the Orange Barrel song?
I have a long time ago. You should link it to me again. I'll listen to it after this stream. But I went golfing yesterday, and I was trying to drive back to my house, and I had to go on this road that I hate because it has the stupidest people in the frickin' state drive on this road. It is a 2-lane in either direction divided street, which is a thing that Michigan does, a lot of other states don't, which means that there is like a internal left turn lane to get into parking lots and all that. So imagine, please, that you are me and you're coming south on this road. It's a 2-lane road going south, but the construction is blocking off the right lane. So everyone can see all the signs that say merge left, because you only have one lane starting at the light that you can see ahead of you. Merge left. I'm in the left lane. And I give space, I make a gap for the dedicated left turn so that people coming north can left turn into the parking structure, get into the shopping area, and get on with their lives. I leave enough space for them to do that. Not only that, but there is a public bus, a smart bus, trying to get out and get on with things, and a bus needs space in order to join the lane, and I'm a good guy, and I'm willing to give some people, appropriately, space to get into a high congestion lane. But this fucking asshole decided that wasn't good enough, that wasn't okay, and he pulls from behind me, jumps into the right lane that is closing to pass me, just me, and park between me and the car in front of me, because he just could not accept that there was 20 feet of space in front of me to allow a left turn. And this fucking asshole blocked like 4 people from turning into a parking structure because our lane wasn't moving. That's why I left space. Oh my fucking God. I hate drivers so much.
Yeah, fair enough. I have felt this angry about cyclists about 20 bazillion times in the past week alone. Driving is nice, but driving is hell. It's a catch-22.
That's a more graceful way to bring it back than what I was going to do. I was going to theorize maybe he was trying to practice getting into a car crash.
That road is going to get me arrested one day.
Well, don't say all that stuff on friggin' YouTube. They'll use it as evidence.
That person needed to be explained clearly why that was unacceptable driving. And yes, I laid on the horn. No, I don't think they understood. I don't think they had enough brain cells to understand.
Listen, these days they'll give a license to anyone who can reach the pedal. Okay, driving is not about keeping yourself safe. Driving is not about getting to places. It's about not getting yourself killed by fucking retards. That's what it is. That's the entire artistry of it.
All right, let's wrap it up here. This is just was supposed to be 1 hour. Don't go to Jersey, our roads are epically bad. Bro, I challenge you to come up to Michigan and say that. And what really drives me up the wall is this was literally caused by Whitmer, because she tried to upgrade all the expressways and everything all at once, and there literally isn't enough material available. There isn't enough concrete, there isn't enough steel, there isn't enough I-beams, there isn't enough workers to do it all at once, but they shut everything down anyways.
Well, that sounds like a common person problem. Whitmer says that she gets into her limo.
This reminds me I need to watch Falling Down already.
I'm surprised you haven't seen that already.
I'm surprised as well.
Good movie, actually. All right. Yeah, I've definitely shilled. You guys have any closing shills before I hit the end stream button?
There's my closing shill, Major. We're gonna have another 5 minutes of this stream, and you're gonna like it. And we're gonna start.
God
this
damn it,
extra
Colonel
5
Cathcart!
missions with offers play. What the hell are you gonna shill today, son?
I was going to wait for you to shill what you were going to shill, and then I was going to think on what I was going to shill. But if you're going to not shill, then I guess I'll shill right now then.
If I shill first, then I'm going to seem like a shill, so I want you to shill.
If I shill first, then that'll be a black eye. That'll be a black eye on this channel, and I want a feather in my cap.
If I shill first, that'll also be a black eye on this channel, and I'll have a feather in my cap.
Alright, well, he's going to kick both of us if we don't get our act together, so I guess I'll shill first. I have many projects in the works. Nothing is out yet, but I do maintain a Twitch channel where I dink around with video games every Sunday. So if that's the sort of thing that you like, go look at my Twitch channel on Sunday. Or I was actually thinking of maybe doing a stream later today if Project Zomboid is your thing. Killing zombies by the buttload.
You have
Other than that, remember my name because... I've got books on the way. They're just not ready yet.
Hey, get on that. You guys have no idea how tempted I was to just click end stream during that banter. And then you actually started chilling and I couldn't.
You know what? That actually probably would have been a better end, because I don't know how effective that's going to be.
What a wet end. Alright. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Press the like button. Tell your friends about this. Join the book club. You want a feather in your cap, don't you? Do you want to read good literature that gives good books? You don't just read garbage. You don't read nothing. You read good books. Let's do this.
Catch-22.neocities.org.
I'm going to Sweden. See ya.